Long before the galaxy burned with war, there was a boy. He was human, alone, wounded, and stranded on the icy mining moon of Veltraner after a pirate ambush had obliterated his transport. The locals, the Karnathi, found him half dead in the snow, clutching a datapad and a cracked Earth medallion. They could have left him. Most would have. But the Karnathi were a quiet, proud people, old miners, scavengers, engineers. They had no love for war, but they had respect for life. So, they took him in, healed his wounds, fed him, and taught him their ways. They called him Aaron. He called them family. Over the years, Aaron grew strong. He fixed their broken generators. He learned their tongue. He laughed with their children, worked beside their elders, and even defended the village when slavers came raiding. He never asked for anything in return, just one promise. If someday you need me, call. The Karnathi thought it poetic. They had no fleets, no weapons, no reach beyond their rock and dust. But they nodded. And then, one morning, he was gone. All he left was a sealed crate buried beneath the old shrine. The villagers never opened it. Years passed. Then decades. The Empire came. First with taxes. Then with soldiers. Then with fire. They called it pacification. The Karnathi called it slaughter. Veltraner's mines were stripped. Cities were leveled. And in the shadow of orbiting imperial dreadnoughts, the villagers who once sheltered a human were lined up beneath cold banners and ordered to kneel. But one elder, old, shaking, nearly blind, remembered. She stumbled to the shrine, dug into the frozen ground with cracked hands until she found the crate. Inside, a single device blinked, untouched for decades. She pressed the button. "Aaron, we need you." That's all it said. Far across the stars, in a sector no longer on official maps, a massive command ship drifted in silent formation. Its hull was matte black, lined with rail cannons, plasma coils, and human flags long forgotten by Earth's bureaucracy. Inside, a man stood over a holomap, gray at the temples, tall, scarred. When the signal reached him, his eyes narrowed. He turned to the AI beside him. "Activate Fleet Protocol Sigma. Tell the others, we're going home." 3 days later, the sky above Veltraner cracked open. The Empire's orbital fleet barely had time to react before the human ships arrived, dark, angular, like wolves among lambs. They didn't broadcast warnings. They didn't negotiate. They opened fire. Missiles screamed through the vacuum. EMPs knocked out targeting arrays. Dreadnoughts split in half like paper under hammer blows. Human boarding pods smashed into destroyers, releasing squads in power armor marked with skulls and the word, reclaimed. On the surface, Karnathi prisoners looked up from chains and saw streaks of light tearing across the sky. A voice echoed from high above. "This is Captain Aaron Vale of the Terran Vengeance Fleet. You hurt my family. Now I've come to return the favor." Empire forces scrambled. But they were too slow, too predictable, too arrogant. The Vengeance Fleet had no mercy in its doctrine, only debt and loyalty. They were humans forged not by politics, but by survival. Mercenaries, ex-soldiers, engineers, and ghosts of past wars who followed one code. No one touches those who shelter our own. The battle was over in hours. The Karnathi village still stood untouched. As the dust settled, a single dropship landed in the square. The ramp lowered, and out stepped Aaron, older, armored, and surrounded by elite guards. But he removed his helmet and smiled like the boy who once mended their solar array. The elders wept. "You remembered," whispered the old woman. He knelt beside her, took her hand gently, and said, "You saved one human. So now 1,000 answered." And across the galaxy, those who watched from afar realized a chilling truth. Humanity doesn't forget. It just waits. They once helped a human. Years later, an entire fleet answered the call.